All right, carrying on here. Looking at the storyboard, or I mean the shot list. Okay, so she yeah, actually, so this shot is really wrong. All right. So according to the plan, actually what's supposed to be happening here oh, that's better. That looks pretty balanced, actually. And I would think, actually, I like it. It's easier to draw it a little bit from this angle. There we go. I'm seeing her all. The idea is that Akari is all nice and snugly in her bed and comfy now. Yeah, I don't know why that's easier to draw from flipped, but it is. So, okay, so she finally finds her position here, and then she sort of snuggles out, all comfy, cozy kind of thing. That's the idea we're after here. And so then, so now, still got those moonbeams coming through. So what I want to do is I really am groping here for I'm listening to the White Album today, the Beatles. I don't know why I've been listening to the Beatles the last few days, but I'm listening right now to Happiness is a Warm Gun. it's just funny. It's just silly. This past week, I looked at some videos on YouTube of conspiracy theorists who are convinced that Paul McCartney died in 66, and was replaced by Billy Shepherd, aka Billy Shears. I will say, from the standpoint of the photographic evidence, looking at photographs of Paul McCartney pre-1966, and then just a very short time later, I can see why people think it's a different guy, because he definitely, for no apparent reason, his look definitely changed quite a bit. But it's fun to explore those conspiracy theories once in a while. If you want lots and lots of cool conspiracy theories, look up David Icke on YouTube. David Icke. Icke is spelled I-C-K-E. He's actually a pretty neat guy. He's got some neat ideas. But what I find is a lot of these conspiracy theory kind of guys, they have, there's some merit to their ideas, for sure. You don't want to just dismiss them out of hand because, sometimes in life there are conspiracies. There are evil things that happen. There are cover-ups, yada, yada, yada. Where David Icke kind of falls flat for me is he has to take it too far into the realm of esoterica and mysticism about the history of the world. It's this idea you may have heard of that humankind is actually the result of a DNA experiment, and that there are still people in the world who have reptile DNA, like all the leaders of the world. Anyway, it's actually interesting food for fodder for storytelling and making up stories, like anime. But the problem is that a lot of times these guys that have really interesting ideas, they always take it too far into the realm of esoterica and mysticism, where the things that they believe very firmly are things that they can never, ever, ever prove. Now, to be fair, the same can be said of, evolution, let's say. You can't prove it. You can't reproduce it, really. Now, if there's somebody out there who's scientifically minded, they may take issue with that statement because of some things that we can do with, say, bacteria in the laboratory that do seem to indicate the, if not the mutation, actually the selective alteration of DNA in order to ensure survival. So, anyway, I guess how did I bring that up? I guess I was talking about the Paul versus fall, F-A-U-L, fall, meaning faux Paul, conspiracy. It is interesting. There's some weird stuff that happened back then in the 60s. So, anyway, what I'm doing here with Akari is, since it's just really about manipulating point of view. When I've shot movies, one of the things you learn if you have to really do a tight budget production, you've got a small crew, you learn that you don't do a bunch of takes. If you have a shot of a character, you don't do 15 takes of that line of dialogue, let's say, or that action. What you do is you do several angles on it. You get the wide shot, you get the close-up. You might do 2 or 3 takes, but never more than that. And what you find is you always have the ability to tell the story and put it together if you have the variety of shots. And that sort of shaped my storytelling thinking. So when I'm working with this, I really see these shots and why they're there. Okay, so I said in my previous video, this is a Tibetan monastery. This shot, it looks more like a castle. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I really haven't done the research yet. So what does a Tibetan monastery really look like from the outside? If there's a balcony outside a window in a Tibetan monastery, what does that look like? I don't have a clue. So all I'm trying to do today is just suggest the idea of it. And we'll worry about filling in the details more accurately later. So I'm actually probably putting in more detail than I need to. And I need to save early, save often, because when I loaded this today, 2 of the images were missing, and I had to redraw them because, OpenTonz saves the images externally to the actual project file. For the most part, that's a good thing, because then you can access the images and just drag them into another program, or do whatever you want to do. However, if you don't save your work as you go, then you might wind up with a project that, as long as it's in memory, you see these pictures, but if you close OpenTonz and reopen it, a couple of the pictures will be gone. They're just because they never got saved. So, okay, so talking about storytelling, let's go back to the top. So here's Akari snoring, more or less. And you've got a jump cut to give a little context where you see the moonbeams. And she kind of just relaxedly, this will happen in a second and a half, really quick. She kind of rolls over and then realizes, ooh, that's not nice. I don't like the sun or the moonbeam shining in my face. And she's kind of half asleep, right? So then she rolls back over and you get this context shot. And frankly, actually right now as I'm looking at this, I'm wondering if I was editing a movie, I would actually try putting these 2 shots in reverse. I would swap them. Because I think actually when she rolls over and goes, and then we jump back out to get this context, and then we see from the outside this context. It's very much a Robert Rodriguez editing style. I tend to use a lot of rapid edits to tell the story. It keeps things moving. So now, this is an interesting question. I'm going to say, what happens if we, okay, so I want picture 7A. That would be this one. And I want that picture here. And so what OpenTonz does is it sticks it here, so it overlaps, which is fine. Okay, so then I can delete this one and move all these up. Okay, now if I actually delete this, then this can be moved over. Now, truth is, it's not essential that that be moved over. Okay, let's make sure we're grabbing just this picture. Okay, so now rolls over. That's better. I'm speaking for Akari. She's feeling, that's nice. And then I would say she takes one breath, cut to outside, and then smash zoom. So this is not just going to pan down, actually. This is going to be, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So this is kind of important. The song that I'm hearing right now is Little Piggies. I think that might be a George Harrison song. Little piggies out to dinner, clutching forks and knives, eating bacon. It's like cannibalism thing going on. I don't get that, man. I don't get that. What's that about? I give those guys credit for creativity, man. Now it's Rocky Raccoon. Okay, so I'm going to call this a smash zoom. Okay, so we got this shot, and I actually would probably do this in 3D, build this wall just with some simple geometry, and then map some texture maps to it. By the way, how's our audio working here? Check, check, check. Are we having an audio problem? I don't know why, but I just had a feeling. Oh, it does seem to be working. Okay, cool. That's good. Okay, anyway, where was I? So we got this shot. Where'd my mouse go? Okay, smash zoom out. And then we see the ninjas. And now we're back on track. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and erase this. And now we can actually start developing it from here. Okay, so we got two ninjas climbing the wall, which is what we saw in the previous shot. The higher one stops as the... Okay, I see what's going on. Okay, so what actually is supposed to be happening here... I'm going to go ahead and put another shot here and turn on the onion skin. Okay. Okay, so actually this is kind of an interesting thought. In order for what I just drew to actually happen, you can see what's going on. The problem is in the prior shot, his hand could not be there. His hand would have to be there. So he's going to be stretching more at the shoulder like that. Because if his hand is not there, and this is one of the cool things about it as you go along here. These details, frankly, make it fun. Okay, so his hand has to be there, which means his elbow has to bend like that. Okay, so let's turn this off. Okay, so that works. That works quite well. Now, I'm thinking, for my purposes, I actually am going to go ahead and make this sort of a fast progression. So which means his head's going to be here. This foot is going to be here, like so. Alright, so this would have to be bent like that. He's reaching up again for another handhold. And I think something like that. Okay, that's not too bad. Gosh, man, I haven't listened to the White Album in a long time. And it's amazing because all these songs are coming back to me that I haven't heard in years and years. Right now it's one of Ringo's, what's it called? Don't Pass Me By. Hello. Ah, looks like there's people wandering through the office here. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right, so now what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to make this a little different color. And all right, and by the way, the balcony needs to be in there. Okay, so I'm just going to draw that in real simple terms at this point. Okay, and the reason I'm putting this in here is so I can go ahead and just, you know, so you can see what I'm doing there. Okay, so now we need to actually make a little adjustment. Once we zoom out here, all right, I'm going to save early, save often here. Make sure this is saving all, because really, I really do not want this guy in here. Or if he's going to be in here, I'm going to go Control C. So I save that. Okay, now let's see if I can paste this back in here. Okay, the reason I did that is I really want this guy to get up to here. So he's just under the, whoops. So he's, so his hand really is under the balcony. We can deal with repositioning the balcony later, but the point is that these three, we do the smash zoom out. This all happens really quickly. Once she's all cozy, nice deep breath. So actually, let's sort of add a little motion there so we see her. I'll say deep breath or deep sigh, let's say. Okay, now this, boom, 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 happens fairly quickly. Oh, man. Okay, and now, actually, this is where it really helps to have multiple layers, actually. Because this is supposed to be the castle. So really what I want to do is stretch this down to, let's just say 16. And then here, I'm going to save this. Let's just draw a dot. And now what we want to do is deal with this guy. Okay? So let's just get this guy going. Okay. All right. And there's one thing I want to change. I'm going to just say this guy's moving more slowly. He's definitely moving more slowly. So I'm going to do him every 2 frames instead of every 1 frame, which is kind of stupid, doesn't really make sense from a real timing standpoint, but at least conveys the idea so I remember that this guy's definitely coming up more slowly than the other guy. Because we'll see in a minute that guy number 1 finds that rather irritating. See? Okay, so if I move these, actually it's kind of interesting, kind of fun to watch. If I only go, I don't know, let's go 3 frames a second. So this thing really moves along pretty slowly. And I'm going to save my work. Save all. And let's just hit the loop key and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, so you can see how it's important to get the time. I mean, the first, up until we see these guys, everything's going way too fast, obviously. Let's go ahead and slow this down to actually 1 frame a second. Yeah, that's that's not quite right timing-wise, but it's actually not that far off. So yeah, what really needs to happen is we'll go here. And then we speed up. Okay, so that's good. I mean, that gives us an idea of what's going on. And at this point, we need to definitely have the castle here, or monastery, I guess is what it really is. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and just grab these and delete them. And then, for simplicity's sake, we're going to continue now to work in this level. Go back to... okay, so just go back to keeping everything in the same level. I don't want to get into multiple levels and layering unless there's a really good reason to. When you got multiple characters and one of them does a bunch of stuff and then holds still while the other guy goes and does a bunch of stuff, so you need to have a hold, it makes all the sense in the world to go ahead and use multiple levels. Okay, so now, how are we doing on time? Boy, 26 minutes. I hope, you guys are probably going to say this is really, really boring, and I'm sorry about that, but this is the real work, this is how it is. You want to do animation. Slow down, baby. Because it takes time, and I'd say this is what you guys said you wanted, but the truth is there was one guy who said this was what he wanted. Said, don't do a speed drawing, just real time. So I'm cool with that. That's fine with me. I don't care. Okay, so... all right, so now we got to cut to a close-up of Ninja number 1. And let's see how we're going to play this. I'm going to do it a couple ways. I can always cut some frames out. But what I'm seeing in my mind is... this guy, okay, I got to make sure I got his pose correct. Okay, so he's got one hand here. And the other one is reaching out. So his shoulders. And I don't know what he's got in terms of costuming, but I'm assuming if he's a ninja, it's all black. Which is, by the way, another reason why you want your poses, having their arms out like this as opposed to in like this or something where there's overlapping. In animation, you really want it to, you want the pose to read in silhouette, right? So, okay, and by the way, what's his leg doing? Okay, so I'm going to say that's probably about right. And now... okay. I'm a little dyslexic, so I really have to think about moving things around in 3D space. I think what I want is this. I think I want this guy. Okay. Okay, so I'm really stretching here, but I think this is what I'm going to have happen. Okay, and now we got to erase this. All right, and now this guy. Okay, so if this guy's this way, the other guy's gonna be. I'm actually really working this out in real time right now, so not 100% sure I'm satisfied with the concept here. I always reserve the right to change my mind. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to say this guy has sort of a neutral look. And we're actually going to have two poses. One is going to be his hand going like this, and then his hand moves this way. To reach up, let me make sure that jibes with what we have here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And actually, I think this is the wrong pose. What should really be happening is he should be looking up like this. Okay. Okay. And then maybe, so the idea here is that they get out here, we cut to this guy, he's sort of thinking about what he's got to do, and then he's this shot here might be removed. But so he turns, looks at his partner, little bit of irritation. Partner gropes. He gropes for the next step, if you will. Okay, and then I'm thinking, I'm going to say, I'm going to put his head here. Okay. Actually, no, I can't do that. Can't be there. Oh, that's not good. Okay, well, I've been saving pretty readily, so we'll see how much I lost. Not sure. I think it was because I drew outside of the... If you draw outside the lines, OpenTonz will die. Let's find out. Oh, no. So now this is interesting. Okay, this is very interesting. And I want to pause and point this out to you guys. This suggests to me that maybe OpenTonz is more of a non-starter than I hoped. Because look at what's going on here. It's actually making me wish I had done all of this in Krita instead of OpenTonz. I was kind of trusting OpenTonz. But look what happened. Once again, the same images that were missing before that I refilled in, I redrew them. I not only redrew them, but I saved early, saved often, and then I went to the Explorer folder. So I'm doing that right now. I'm going to the Explorer folder for OpenTonz portable stuff, sandbox, extras is where the images are kept, and looking for level BN. Now, when I redrew these images and I saved them, I'll kind of show you what's going on here. I'll bring this over to this screen. Okay, and I'm not joking. When I redrew these images, so if I preview them from inside the folder, okay, so as I go along here, you can see, once again, that close-up of Akari is missing. Okay, no big deal. What's weird is, in OpenTonz, I literally redrew this frame, confirmed that we saw it over here in the list of images. I did save all, okay, and then I looked here in the folder, and the images that I'm referring to were there. There they were. And all the other images that I added as I was doing this storyboard appeared in the folder. I confirmed that. Then I saved everything again. Okay, so you would think in those circumstances, there's almost no way anything could go wrong. So remember, I had the initial storyboard with all the images in it, which I thought were saved, and I gave it the benefit of the doubt that maybe I drew a couple frames and didn't do save all. And so, okay, two or three pictures got Never got saved. Okay, I can live with that. But this time I went in, I redid them, saved them, confirmed that they were saved in the folder. I could see the pictures there when I did the preview just like this. There they were. This was a little while ago. I think it was before I started the... I can't remember if I got that on video or not. And then... But now... And so even though I saved, as you guys witnessed, I saved many times, the same images that were missing the first time are still missing. Some of the stuff I drew, like the red background of the monastery, that's there. These images are there. The images, the most recent images of the guy climbing, those are there. But my close-ups are gone. No close-ups. But more disturbingly, way more disturbingly, is that these images are missing. Because what that means is when OpenTonz saved the project file, it's like thinking for me. It's going to be smart. So for some reason, it decided, well, these images aren't actually being used, which they were, but for some reason it decided they weren't. So it not only didn't save them in the project file, but it apparently deleted them off disk as well. You just go, okay, under what circumstances would that ever make sense? It doesn't make sense. But yeah, in fact, you can see right here with the images that the ones in question literally must have been deleted back off the disk. Okay. That is a sufficiently egregious and stupid mistake on the part of OpenTonz to almost make me go, I just will throw the software out. Screw it. Not going to use it. Because no matter how good it is at anything else, if I can't rely on it to not destroy my work for me, then it's a piece of crap. It's worthless. And I can't emphasize enough how meticulous I was about making sure this problem right here, as you can see, these frames are marked red because OpenTonz can't find the pictures. I strongly suspect this. I strongly suspect, because you guys saw me draw the new, this frame right here. But let's just, okay, let me see. Yeah, so they got the ordering correct. So I'll bet you that if I had put it in this column, it would have been preserved. I would almost bet any amount of money that if I had put it in this column, it would still be there. So I'm going to go, she rolls over, and as I drew it, sorry, that kind of really bums me out because I really liked the drawing that I did. You know, I really thought it grabbed the sense of, yeah, because remember I had the hand like this. You know, I just, okay, I've done a lot of software development. I've written code in C, Pascal, Visual Basic, JavaScript, obviously some non-languages like HTML and CSS I'm very fluent with, PHP. I've done a lot of programming. I know what stupid programming is. This kind of stuff is stupid. You have to be very careless to allow such a thing to happen. So that's why I kind of have a hard time with it, is because it's like, it's just so avoidable. You know, destroying your user's work just because your software is trying to be smart but isn't quite smart enough, that doesn't work for me, man. No. But like I said, I will really bet you that this will work. Putting it in another column. There's something about inserting this whole process of, you know, moving it in or putting a new frame in the same column, or more importantly, moving the frames around, swapping them out and reversing them. There's something about the mathematics of that, or something that OpenTonz is choking on. That's the only thing I can figure. So, but if I want to feel good again, all I have to do is look at Akari sleeping because she's so sweet. All right. Yeah, okay. So the problem is this is the other frame I really I really liked. This stinks, man. Okay, so this is going to be a super close up. Fortunately, the more you draw, the better you get, right? So there's no effort that's really lost. All right, but what I got to do is I got to draw. So this will probably be even better than the other one. Current song on the Beatles' White Album, for those of you who are keeping score, is Sexy Sadie, which would be a John Lennon song. So, okay. That kind of shows her irritation. It's like, I don't like these light beams shining in on my face. Okay, so I'm going to save early, save often again, and I'm going to prove it to you as I come over here. Okay. Preview. Okay, so there's that picture I just drew, and there's the other one. So we know that they're saved, right? Okay, so however, we got to delete this frame, and we got to delete this frame. So I do find it a little irritating that I'm forced to build this up in separate columns. But there are worse things, you know, like having your work deleted. So it's not the worst thing in the world, but I'll bet this will work. I'm going to go save all. So what's the lesson here? What's the takeaway? For me, the takeaway would be, actually, I'm going to put this back where it was. I don't know. The takeaway for me, and sorry if the microphone's making some noise right now, I'm just making a little adjustment. Okay, for me, the takeaway is that in OpenTonz, what you want to do is build up, and I'm assuming this is going to work. I'm pretty sure it will. Is you don't want to do a lot of manipulation of your frames in terms of moving and rearranging and deleting, because OpenTonz gets confused. So build it up in multiple layers, and then maybe take the image sequence. And I was going to show you this. Okay, folks, you got to wait for a second because we're going to go over this for a minute. So this is what I'm seeing her. So she rolls over. She's got the, that's irritating. Rolls back over this way. And then, everything's good. Establishing shot may or may not be necessary. Okay, why that shot's back in there, I'm not sure. But then you got this. So these guys climb up. And then he's moving a little slower. He's catching up. And then I had some images that got deleted. But basically, it's close-ups of this guy looking down and sort of getting irritated with this guy as he sort of grips along. So anyway, that's kind of what we're seeing. What time is it? 43 minutes. Holy smokes. Okay, so what I was going to test is, let's save all and close it. Okay, the images are still there on disk, right? Let's see what happened. Boom. Current song is Helter Skelter. Helter Skelter. All right. Yep, and there it is. Okay, so now I got a couple things I need to fix. What's most irritating about this is that I don't remember. I actually don't remember now what I did. I think this needs to be deleted. Help me out, folks. What was this shot? I know what this shot was. Now, this actually really makes me mad. This was the shot that took all the time. This is the shot that was super time consuming because it was the exterior view. And that's where it gets a little heartbreaking, folks, because it was the kind of shot that you don't just whip off in 30 seconds. You know, there was some thought behind it. And now I have to remember what I did. So with that, I think I'm going to stop for today, and because I'm really going to have to bore you by sitting here and thinking about it. So, okie doke, that's it for now.